Classic, the series of videos where I look back into older movies from the time before I had my channel and review them for you. And since War for the Planet of the Apes is coming out this week, I have already reviewed Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and now here we go to Dawn. It was this time directed by Matt Reeves, written once more by Amanda Silver and Rick Jaffa, with the addition of Mark Bomback, and it stars Andy Serkis as Caesar, Toby Kebbell as Koba, Jason Clarke, Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell, among others. This movie is set 10 years after Rise of the Planet of the Apes, with a growing nation of genetically evolved apes led by Caesar, living peacefully among the forest. And one day they encounter a band of humans who is searching for a dam who has electric energy to give power to the city that they are secluded in. They are living in this fort in San Francisco, and they are living secluded from the apes, and the apes secluded from them. From this moment on, the two civilizations meet, and that's where we get our main conflict. You know, I remember watching Dawn of the Planet of the Apes for the first time back in 2014, and being astounded at how good this movie is. And very rarely in your life, if you watch as many movies as I do, you will find a movie that you remember as being excellent, and then you go back and rewatch it and the movie is even better than that. I had no recollection of this movie being as poetic as it is. The beats of this narrative are beyond rare these days. And when I say these days, I mean for 10, 15 years, the crafting of these characters is amazing. And yes, I also mean the humans. We'll get to that. The direction by Matt Reeves is something completely out of the blue, because this guy directed a movie I really liked, Cloverfield. But what he does here in every sense, the way he crafts his shots, the visual storytelling of this movie. I do not mean what I'm going to say only in terms of technical aspects, because the cinematography is absolutely phenomenal. The sound design is incredible. The special effects are awesome. I mean, they are perfect. I still to this day do not believe that these are CGI apes. But what I'm going to say is that the powerful imagery in this movie is absolutely untouchable. There are so many key visual moments of this movie that touch on you so much. They do not only feed the narrative, but they feed the emotion that the movie is run on. This movie runs on emotion. It is fueled by emotion for 2 hours and 10 minutes. By the way, that's the runtime of this movie, and it does not feel that runtime at all. The screenplay for this movie is extremely intelligent and well written. How we start off with just the apes, seeing how their civilization works. We have hunters, we have warriors, we have teachers in Maurice, and they work as a civilization. They live peacefully. They are a good society, and we see how they all work together. Much like we humans don't work. The stark contrast is always there, from the way they communicate with sign language, from how peaceful they are, and yes, let's face it, from the fact that they do not wear clothes. And going back to the powerful imagery, this moment where you see Maurice teaching the other apes how to talk, how to speak, and we see these words on the rock. Ape, do not kill ape. Apes, together strong. Knowledge is. And the last word is obstructed by apes. And we'll get back to that. I love how believable the friendship between Koba and Caesar is. You can completely see the point and perspective of both these characters without any exposition at all. In film, one of the first rules you learn is to show, not to tell. And this movie shows you everything right from the get-go. The first thing that Koba does in this movie is save Caesar. Out of will. He saves Caesar because he wants to. He's a friend of Caesar. And you see Caesar's perspective while Koba is slowly demonstrating that he sees himself as inferior to Caesar and he doesn't like it. You never see Caesar see him that way. Caesar sees Koba as an equal, as a friend, as a trusted companion, as a brother. And how we see Koba's corruption slowly throughout this film is a beautiful thing because of the role that the humans play in this movie. The humans come in and there's a stark contrast. They are not peaceful. They see apes, they point guns at them. They are dressed, let's face it. They are nervous, they are afraid, and they do not understand the civilization, almost like it's weird to them that a civilization that is working can be peaceful. And it also speaks a lot to the narrative that the humans are desperate for power. They are desperate for power and technology to live. They need the technology to live, to survive in that fort that they are holding in San Francisco. However, it was their wanting and needing of technology that led them to this path to create the Genesis virus and to make the super intelligent apes that eventually created the virus to extinguish the humans. I really like the humans in this movie. I'm going to say it. I really like them. Why? Because this movie is much more ape-centric. And while the other movie generally had a divide between wherein it's centered on humans and on apes, this movie has the perspective of the apes. And the human characters in this movie, they're not bad. They're just meant to represent humanity. They're meant to be a point of view character and not very well defined, despite them having good character development in here. This movie shows a new entire perspective. That's why it starts only with apes. That's why you get attached to the apes and you feel compassion for them and you much more identify with the apes than with the humans. The humans in this movie, as good as some of them might be, you identify with the apes because the humans are wrong in their actions. They are wrong in the actions that led them to right now. And I love this movie because it starts off without telling you what happened in the last decade besides a virus spread through the world. This movie is set in a world that is lived in. This movie is set upon a time where something happened before it started and something will happen after it ended. This is not a movie that will spoon feed you information, and it has a lot of meanings. This movie is uber Shakespearean. Have you ever read Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare? Look it up. It's all there. A leader who gets shot and betrayed by a trusted friend, a man who is slowly corrupted by, well, the technology of the humans that corrupted the humans against the apes in the first place. Technology is the divide that you encounter between the humans and the apes. And that's what corrupts Koba, is the fact that he gets his hands on guns. The fact that he gets his hands on guns is what leads him to shoot Caesar and rally the apes and manipulate their beliefs and their trust on Koba because Caesar is dead. Also, Matt Reeves crafts beautiful action sequences when the apes are invading the fort of the humans, where in many movies, like 99% of the movies, you would get this explosive, fast-paced action sequence with a humongous score playing on the background. In this movie, it slows down, and it's almost in slow motion. And it's not slow motion used to see somebody jump on the air and shoots somebody on the head. It's used to craft the action well, because you follow the characters. Whenever you get an explosion, apart from one, and that's the biggest explosion in the scene, you always follow the characters. The explosions are on the background, because what matters is how the characters are handling this. And this is how well the movie is crafted. And you know how more often than not we get glorious shots of the hero standing in front of the American flag high on the air? Well, this movie has another powerful image. After Koba conquers the city, not only does he kill one of the apes after this ape refuses to follow his orders, you have Koba walking over the American flag, pointing down as we see the apes gathering the humans and putting them in cages. That's how poetic this movie is. The powerful imagery doesn't stop, not even to the last moment. The powerful message and imagery of this movie also continues when Caesar, after being shot, is resting at James Franco's house waiting for the other apes being rescued by Blue Eyes, and he finds James Franco's tape. And I think this scene is very important to the movie because this movie is all about how technology can corrupt a pure being, while this scene shows us that yes, technology is bad. Technology can be very bad, but it's not all bad. This movie doesn't run on black and white. This movie treats everything everything that it talks about as something in a gray area, something with flaws and something with advantages, something that can bring something good to the world and something bad to the world, something that can maybe advance a civilization but also can destroy it from within.
Who was that? On the video.
A good man. Like you.
The fight scene between Koba and Caesar is also spectacular. It's these two former brothers, two former trusted allies that you saw from the very beginning of the movie being good friends but understanding both their sides. But now you see that after what Koba did, after trying to kill Caesar, after killing Ash for refusing an order, after imprisoning other apes, this is where Caesar must drop the ball, because Caesar throughout this film is not playing games. The performances in this movie are all around strong as they can be, and his circus as Caesar is powerful. And he is a strong leader, but not a perfect leader. You see throughout this film that Caesar is not perfect and he doesn't see himself as perfect. And that is a good character. Koba in this movie starts off as a completely good character, but a completely good character that, just like humans, as good as they could have been in the last film, get corrupted by technology, corrupted by power, corrupted by what they want to believe and what these ideas might lead to. This movie is completely run on character and ideologies, and that's what makes this movie stand out and stand up after so many years. Only 3, but it will stand up in 10 years or so. And let's get to the last scene. Cinematography, excellent. Special effects, incredible. You have Caesar finally trusting this man and telling him to go away, to run as far away as he can. And this movie, proving once more to be powerfully poetic, ends up the exact reverse as it started off. I love the first shot of this movie where it's this zoom out shot of Caesar, the fearless leader, leading the apes to go hunting. And you see this first look at Caesar, powerful, imponent, standing strong with his people. And now the last shot is a zoom in with Caesar alone, not surrounded by anyone, despite all the other apes being there. And when you close in on his eyes, he is scared. This movie ends with Caesar scared, and that is a powerful message. I will say it again, it's not easy to find a movie that you remember as being excellent or that you love it, and it gets even better after you watch it for like the 10th time. I think I watched this movie more than 10 times, to be honest. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is poetry in cinema. It's a movie that reminds me why I love movies, and I have seen 1 or 2 of those in the past 5 years. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is an extremely well-crafted film in every sense. Cinematography, score, acting, characters, dialogue, just everything. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes surprised me in more ways than one rewatching it for this review, and I couldn't be happier or more confident to say that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the stuff that dreams are made of. What did you think of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Have you rewatched it recently? And is there a movie that when you rewatch it, it was even better than what you remembered and you already remembered it for being excellent? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know how is your hype for War for the Planet of the Apes. I can't wait to talk to you about that movie. Once more, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all so, so much. I will never be able to say anything more than that because there are no words for it. There are no words for how grateful I am for you guys. And on Tuesday, I will have my review for Baywatch, and after that, War for the Planet of the Apes. So until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united!